Good morning students, welcome back to Triveni Memorial Senior Secondary School online classes. Students, today we are going to start one of our another chapter from class 8 in history, that is Women, Caste and Reform. So in this chapter, as the title itself is suggestive, we are going to study about the image, the condition of the woman, how the condition of women had improved as compared to the past time, about that, and then is who are the particular reformers. Reformers means those persons who contributed in changing the lives of women. And last one is regarding the caste system that used to prevail in India. So what are the various problems that women used to face in the early times? We all were very much aware about that. Those are, they were not allowed to gain education. Then is Victorian marriage system was not there, and it was believed that women are inferior as compared to men, and they were not offered higher positions like pilots, doctors, etc. And then if we talk about caste system, we already know about this thing. Varna system, we have studied about Varna system, that is how Brahman classes are there, Kshatriya classes are there, Shudras and Vaishyas are there, and we are already aware about the role of these. We have already discussed about that in the last chapters. So basically we talk about the differentiation between the upper caste people and the lower caste people, how the lower caste people used to dominate, how the upper caste people used to dominate the lower caste people. And now we will study about the role of various reformers, those persons who contributed a lot in changing the positions of women in the society. Then is working towards change. As I already told you, in earlier times we have very rigid, very strict social customs and social norms, especially regarding women. What we believe that women were inferior and they had no right to gain education. And in fact, it was believed that if they were sent to school, they are not going to play the role of homemaker anymore. They are going to get distracted. And secondly, people also thought that women are not safe in the outside world. So what happened, you can see here. Firstly, in 1772, Raja Ram Mohan Roy, he founded one of the reform, and the name of that reform is Brahm Samaj. And where he started this particular reform? In Calcutta, in which he recognized, or you can say he collected the group of all such people who raises their voice against the injustice that women were facing in the society. He was completely against the domination, completely against the violence that women were facing in the society, and that is the reason he started this movement in Pune, Calcutta. The next is Raja Ram Mohan Roy spread the knowledge of Western education in our country, and he believes in the path of freedom and equality for women. That is, he said that both men and women are equal in society and both have equal right, whether that is in the term of education, whether that is in the term of job occupation, etc. So all those were his beliefs, and he was one of the prominent reformer who contributed in changing the lives of women. That next is changing the lives of widows. Students, you know this thing very well, that in earlier times what was believed that a woman's life was completely dependent on her husband's life, and if husband died, then the woman or the lady was also forced, to be sati. Sati pratha was there. But Raja Ram Mohan Roy, as I already discussed with you, he was completely against the practice of sati. In fact, in order to make people understand, he gave reference from various Indian and Sanskrit texts also. He said that it is written nothing, not in, because people believed in our Purans, Gita, Mahabharata are sacred religious texts. He gives the relevance of that it is written nowhere that sati practice needs to be there. Women need not to be burned. They also have their separate life, and we cannot connect their life with their husband's life. So thereafter what happened? In 1829, sati practice was completely banned after his efforts. And also he took help from British officials also at that time, because Britishers were also against sati practice, because that was not at all one of the norms that can be practiced. Thereafter, students, what is there? These are the strategies, these are the things, campaigns which were offered by Raja Ram Mohan Roy in the society. And as I already told you that he gave the verse, he gave the importance of sacred Indian text like Gita, Mahabharata to people, to make them understand that sati practice is not written, is not mentioned anywhere in any of our texts. Thereafter, student, what is there? One more person joined him, and that is Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar, and he also gives reference from various sacred texts, and he also played a dominant role in abolishing, in finishing the concept of widows. That is, he also believed in the concept of widow remarriage, and he became a supporting pillar who came forward to help women and organizes campaign throughout the country at mass level to make them people aware that sati practice is banned now, and widow are also having the right to get remarried if they want, because they also have their separate entity, separate lives. As I already told you, that this campaign became a mass campaign, and it got spread to different areas of our country, in different Telugu speaking countries, and in Madras, Calcutta, and in other parts of our country. Then one another reformer is there, that is Swami Dayanand Saraswati. He established one of the Samaj. The name of that Samaj is basically an association. Association means group of person. And this association is termed as, it was obviously established by Swami Dayanand Saraswati, and name of this association was Arya Samaj. And this Arya Samaj also focuses on widow remarriage. And all these people, whether that is Raja Ram Mohan Roy, whether that is Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar, or whether that is Swami Dayanand Saraswati, they all came forward to fight against the conservative groups in the society who believed that women are inferior than men and they have no right, they are not equal. So they all supported the concept of widow remarriages. And obviously they brings steps ahead. They started establishing forming schools, like Arya Samaj schools are also there nowadays, also there, at that time also there, which promoted girls' education, because they believe that both men and women are equal in the society, and girls also have the right to gain education. The next is girls began going to school. Student, as I already told you, at that time, this was the thinking in the mind of people that girls need not go to school. The whole world is close to them. They need to be kept in the internal walls of their home. Why? Because they believed that if they go outside, there are chances of eve teasing. Secondly, people believed that if they will gain education, they will be not homemaker, they will be home spoiler, because after that they start thinking that they are also equal to man. So these are some reasons that people don't allow women to gain education and feel them that they are meant for performing domestic duties only. They are not meant to go to public spaces. And after that, what happened? At that time, very few women were there who became inspiration for large number of women, and one among them is Rasundra Devi. She was one of the women who studied in very flickered light at night with the help of candles. Her son's book, from her son's book, because she was keen interested in studying, keen interested in gaining education. So till this time period, women also started gaining education, and as I already told you, Arya Samaj and other reformers also started opening schools for girls' education. In Pune, in Maharashtra, Jyotirao Phule also started opening schools. He also promoted girls' education in different part of the country. Thereafter, what happened? Like if we talk about Muslims, she was Hindu lady. If we talk about Muslims, then in Muslims also women like Mumtaz Ali, they also focuses. They also pay attention towards promoting women's education. As they were educated, they rights in favor of women and provide support to the women so that they also could gain education. The next is women right about women. As I already told you, those women who were educated, they started writing in favor, in support of other women, so that all women in the society got to know about this thing. They got understand that education is meant for all and all people are equal in the society. Now see what is there and how they write about a woman. Firstly, regarding Muslim women, regarding the Begum of Bhopal is mentioned here. He established primary school. She establishes primary school in Aligarh. That is Begum Ruqayya Shekhawat. She also promoted education for Muslim girls in Patna and Calcutta. And thereafter, she was a critic. Critic means when you are strictly in opposition of something. That is critic. So she was a severe critic of conservative ideas. Which conservative ideas? That women are not equal. They have no right to gain education. Widow remarriage concept. So she was against all these conservative ideas and she writes her thoughts about all these things. Now what happened? By the end of 1880s, Indian women also started playing a dominant role towards education role. They also started gaining education. They started becoming doctors, they started becoming pilots, and they make themselves move forward in the society and contributed in different fields. They felt the concept of equality, whether it's about widow remarriage, whether it's about gaining education. Now one woman is there who also played a dominant role and was one of the prominent writer, and name of that woman is Tarabai Shinde. Tarabai Shinde wrote in his one of the book, and the name of his book only is Stri Purush Tulna, which the name itself is suggesting that in this book what she wrote about the comparison between men and women, how men played a dominant role in the society and how women were not allowed to gain education. Thereafter, another lady is there, and that is Pandita Ramabai. She was a great scholar of Sanskrit. She knows about Sanskrit very, very well, and all her writings were there in Sanskrit only. In her books, what she used to write about the oppressive ideas of Hindu man towards the woman. She writes that how Hindu men believe that there is no image, no dignity of women in the society. She writes about that, how the women faced the violent treatment, how they were not economically strong, and even for that she opened her own school where she provided economic support to the women and said them that became self-dependent. Be economically dependent on your own, be self-dependent, so that you need not ask for money from your husbands or from your fathers, and so that you would be feel free to do anything whatever you like to do. And she started adopting some of the Western ideas, Western cultures, because some Western ideas, Western culture, philosophies states that women are also having an important role to play in the society. They also need to be provided with the better healthcare facilities. They also need to be provided with the proper education facilities, and they also have the right of equality in the society. That is, both man and woman are equal in the society. Then is your caste and social reforms. Regarding caste, I already told you regarding the Varna system, that we have Brahman people, we have Kshatriyas, we have Vaishyas, and we have Shudras. And regarding their roles, that how the Shudras, that is the lower caste people, untouchables, we have already studied about untouchables. Regarding the story of Bhimrao Ambedkar, we have discussed in the last chapter what sort of dominance they feel in the society. So that is mentioned there. So various reformers came in the society who fight against, or who fight for supporting the low caste people, who fight for supporting the untouchables, who fight for untouchables, the violence that they are facing in the society, the rights that they are not provided with, and that they are also having the same rights that the upper caste people are enjoying. And one among them is obviously Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar. In the last chapter we are already studied about that. Christian missionaries were set up, and the main of these missionaries is to remove the tribal groups, to remove the lower caste people from the society, and to make them convert into being Christian, or to adopt Christian works. Now what happened? As I already told you, why these tribal communities are getting declined, we have studied in the last chapters also, because they started moving from forest or from villages to urban areas in search of job opportunities for them in cities. And for that purpose, they got manipulated there, they got cheated there, and they have to serve for different works in order to earn their livelihood. They got engaged themselves in construction work, in building. They became masons, they became coolies, they became bricklayers, sweepers, rickshaw palas, rickshaw pullers, and many more. And they are present throughout the world and contributed in all this stuff because they just want to earn their livelihood. So all this is there, that the lower caste people faces discrimination in the society. So various reformers come ahead and support these lower caste people so that they also gain the same right, the same equal status as the upper caste people are enjoying in the society. Regarding Mahar people, remember in the last chapter I told you that Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar also belongs to Mahar category, Mahar caste, which was one of the untouchable caste, and he was also one of the reformer who come forward to improve the status of, you can see here, and that is why he is called as the father of our constitution also, and father of untouchables also, because he was one of the prominent leader who works for improving the social status, economic status, cultural status, overall status of these low caste people and protect them from upper caste people. And the next is demand for equality and justice. I already told you this till this time, when women realize this thing, that not only women but we would say the depressed people who are deprived away from any of their rights, whether we will talk about widow being remarried, whether we talked about the lower caste people being dominated by the upper caste people, whether we talk about gaining education, etc. So all these dominated group realize the concept of equality, realize that they are facing discrimination in the society, and from there we got emerged with the concept of social equality and justice. Now see what is there, that Satnami movement, different campaign got organizing. Haridas Thakur Matua, he also worked for Brahmanical, you can say for Chandana cultivators who were dominated by the Britishers or other persons for paying higher taxes and all. So we can see here that at different places, people from different castes, these are all examples of the reformers who contributed in different fields, whether for the contribution of bringing equality or justice in the society, whether that is in the case of castes domination, whether that is in the case of education, widow remarriage, etc. So one such name is Sri Narayan Guru, who proclaimed the idea of unity, who said that all people from any of the religious group, from any of the caste background, whether man or female, are equal in the society and all needs to live with unity, peace and harmony in the society. Thereafter you can see here many leaders are also there who supported non-Brahman class, because non-Brahman class were dominated by the Brahman class. So these reformers come ahead to support these people and they try to create the idea of equality among all. Then is your Ghulamgiri. Okay, now this is also one of the book. Basically, Ghulamgiri is one of the book, and this book is written by Jyotiba Rao Phule. In this book, he wrote about the injustice of caste society, how the Ghulam means how the lower caste people were treated as servants by the upper caste people, how they were forced to become labor, that is how they became forced labor, forcefully they were sent to do work for the upper caste people. In fact, he also raised the concept what was believed that Aryas belongs to upper caste people and they dominate the lower caste people. In his book, he argued that Aryas are the one who are the outsiders. They are not from our country, so they are definitely not having any right to rule the citizens of our country. So regarding the condition of the lower caste people, regarding the conditions of forced labor, regarding the condition of Ghulams, he writes in his books regarding the various peasants situation, lower caste people, about all these things he writes in his book, the discrimination that they faces, whether we are talking about untouchables, laborers, about all that. Then is the Sashilak Samaj was also one of the association, one of the group that was founded by Jyotiba Rao Phule, and the aim of this association is to promote caste equality so that the upper caste people won't dominate the lower caste people in any of the way. And as all such concepts were written by him in his book named Ghulamgiri. Thereafter, he also wrote about the condition of the forced labor who were there in America. There is Phule dedicated this book, Ghulamgiri, to whom? To all the Americans, non-white, black Americans, you can say, who were treated who were treated very badly, very violently in the society, and who dominates them? White people dominate them. So he dedicated this book to the white slaves of America. Other examples are also there. He criticized the upper caste people. He criticized the dominant group, we can say. Those who used to dominate the lower caste people or the women and not allowed them to gain education. The next topic is who could enter temple. This already we have studied in earlier times. What happened? Only the Brahman class, only the upper class people, they were allowed to enter inside the temple, and the lower class people were not allowed to enter inside the temple. Mahal, so untouchables. And for that in 1927, Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar, I already told you, is into society. He started one of the movement and make it assured that the untouchables, Mahar, lower caste people also had the right to enter the temple, and they could also use the temple tank for water because they were not allowed to use temple tank in earlier times. So he removed all these prejudices that exist in the mind of people, and that is known Brahman movement. Now what is this? Basically, the known Brahman movement was started. This was one of the initiative taken by the known Brahman caste, in which they focused on giving education, wealth and all sort of facilities to known Brahman class also, that were earlier given to only Brahman caste people, and to remove the influence, the dominance of Aryans, or you can say the upper caste people. So basically they challenge the Brahminical class people. Then is R.V. Ramaswamy Naikar. He was one of the people who came from a very middle class family, and he studied various Sanskrit sculptures, and he became the member of Congress, and he was also a prominent nationalist, and he also raised his voice regarding the domination, discrimination, inequality faced by the lower caste people. He raised his voice against the self-respect and the dignity that lower caste people were not provided with. He fought for his self-respect and dignity. Thereafter, he said that untouchables needs to be free for themselves, whether they were not allowed to enter to the temple, so they also need to be allowed to go to the religious places, to the temples, to gain education or etc. So he worked in that field. So after that, what is there? And he also gave the example of Bhagavad Gita and Ramayana to the people, and said that it is written nothing there in all our sacred texts that women need to be dominated by the men, that any concept of untouchables lies in our society. So he presented all those things as an evidence in front of the people to make them understand, and he contributed a lot and establishes many of the associations. Like one association is Brahma Samaj. He set up that association in Bengal, obviously, so that, and organizes the debates from time to time, writes, used to provide speech so that people, especially the untouchables, became aware about their rights. And thereafter, students, you can see here organization for reform. We have already studied in detail. Now in brief it is given. Firstly, regarding Brahmo Samaj, we have already studied regarding Brahmo Samaj that it got established in 1830, and it prohibited all forms of ideas and sacrifices. Prohibited means banning. He banned sati practice and all sort of sacrifices. Then is your Drizio and Young Bengal. Now what is this? Basically, Drizio was one of the person. He was a teacher in Hindu college in Calcutta, and he was also against radical ideas, conservative ideas, that he also promote equality in all forms. Then is Ramakrishna Mission and Swami Vivekananda. They also stressed on the ideas of salvation through social service and selfless actions. They believe in the concept of social service. Then is, thereafter students, our next is the Pratna Samaj, which got established in 1867 in Bombay, and this Samaj encouraged the education for women. Then is your Veda Samaj, which got established in Madras, that is in Chennai, in 1864, and this is inspired by the Brahmo Samaj only, and their focus is on the concept of widow remarriage and women's education. So these are the various concepts that we study. The Aligarh movement, about that I also told you that how different primary schools got opened in Aligarh so that women could gain education, especially for Muslims women. Then is the Singh Sabha movement. It is formed in Lahore in 1873 and it fought against all the superstitions, all the conservative thoughts that were there in the mind of people regarding the women, so that they also got equal status, equal right in the society. And regarding the black slaves, I already told you that how they were treated as forced labor in America and their dominant condition. So students, that's it about our chapter, and now we will discuss about the question answers of the chapter. So let's start, student. In this we have to match that which particular contributor contributed or reformer contributed in which field. Firstly, it's regarding Raja Ram Mohan Roy. He spread education among women. Then is your Dayanand Saraswati against widowry marriage. Then is your Virasalingam Patalu against the caste equality and justice. Then is your Jyotirao Phule against caste equality. He also wrote the book called Gulamgiri. And then is your Pandita Ramabai Periyar. We have already studied about all these reformers who have contributed in which field. Thereafter, next is your true and false. First one is, when the British captured Bengal, they framed many new laws to regulate the rules regarding marriage, adoption and the inheritance of property. Right, that is true. As I already told you that all the rules framed by Britishers were not wrong. Some rules are there who support the right thing, that is who support the women or caste equality. Then second is, social reformers had to discard the ancient texts in order to argue for reforms in social practices. False. Third one is, reformers got full strength from all the section of the people of the country. That is also false. And last is, the Child Marriage Restraint Act was passed in 1929. That is true. Then is, how did the knowledge of ancient texts help the reformers promote new laws? I give you the example that they take reference of the sacred books like Gita, Ramayana, Mahabharata to give evidence to the people that no sort of discrimination is mentioned in any of these sacred books. Then is, what were the different reasons people had for not sending girls to the school? These also are discussed by us. The concept of Eve teasing, they believe that they would not be more dominant or not domestic workers if they will be sent to the school, and many other reasons. Then is, why the Christian missionaries attacked many people in the country? Simply because they want to force them to adopt Christianity as their religion. Then is, in the British period, what new opportunities open up for the people who came up from castes that were regarded as low? I told you they started working as masons, they started working as rickshaw pullers, sweepers, etc. The next question is, how did Jyotirao Phule, the reformer, justify their criticism of caste inequality in society? I told you regarding the book Gulamgiri, written by him, in which he criticizes all those things. The next question is, how did Phule dedicate his book Gulamgiri? Why did Phule dedicate his book Gulamgiri to the American movement to free slaves? Because he saw the discrimination faced by black people, black slaves in America. Then is, why did Ambedkar want to achieve through the temple entry movement equal status? Because untouchables were not allowed to enter inside the temple or to use the temple tag. Then is, why were Jyotirao Phule and Ramaswamy Naicker critical or you can say criticize the national movement? Did their criticism help the national struggle in any way? So what is there? Yes, they criticize it, and this helps all the lower caste people to come together, also the youth to forget their differences and make all the people to work as a unit, to work collaboratively, harmoniously, unitedly to fight against the discrimination that they are facing in the society. So students, that's it about our chapter, and I hope you understand the chapter very well. Thank you, students.